Hello everyone. Happy Monday. It's Lorraine with Crafty Therapy by Elle. I'm just pulling up the live stream here on YouTube. I want to make sure that the view is okay. I see live on my phone. Okay, now I can see it. How are you? I'm gonna pull you up this way a little bit. So I got a new light stand and camera holder for Mother's Day, so I wanted to come on and do a quick live and test it out and see how the angle is. So bear with me, I'm just trying to get this situated. It looks on my screen like it's a good view. So if you think it's a good view, let me know. I'm going to be working on the base for a summer wreath. It's going to have either one of these signs. I'm thinking this top sign, welcome to our home, but it might have an option of this sign also. So I hope everybody, I'm going to be using this orange frame. This came from Hobby Lobby. I think it was probably from the fall, because usually they have orange during the fall. I hope everybody had a nice Mother's Day. I had a great Mother's Day. I'm going to be cutting this at 21 inches. This is a really pretty roll of mesh. It's got all of the beautiful colors. You can see why I picked it. I'm pulling in all of the colors from my sign in the Deco mesh. So I thought that's going to go nicely together. So I'm cutting these at 21 inches. This is a 10-inch roll of Deco mesh. Angle you a little bit down. If you're on and watching, let me know what you think of this angle. I usually have it coming from my side. But I thought more of an overhead might be good. I'm going to switch my, I have two different ones. That blade feels like it might need to be changed. This is also really thick Deco, yeah, much better. You see how that went right through? So that other one, probably the blade just needs to be changed. This one goes through much better. Well, better than the other one, but this is a very thick mesh. It's more like a fabric mesh. So I was thrilled. I wasn't sure if I was gonna get one of these. I've had a few of them in the past and they all kind of just break or they don't angle down enough so that you can really see what I'm doing and working, what my hands are doing. So I was excited to get this, and I got beautiful bouquets of flowers from my boys and cards. Had my parents over and we just ordered in, which was nice. My littlest son made the cake, and we just ordered in food, so there was not much cleanup. So overall, it was a really nice day. I hope you guys had a nice time and got spoiled or spoiled someone. So I'm just going to cut this whole roll up 21 inches. Looks like we have a few people on. Say hi, let me know where you're watching from, if this is the first time you're watching. So this one is a little bit short. This is about 20 inches. This might be an extra piece, but I'm going to hold this aside because I might end up using it. So I'm going to bring back my wreath frame. I have lots of videos if you go to my live section on how to make a wreath frame, how to put the ties on a wreath frame, how to cut ribbon. I have lots of step-by-step videos. I also have lots of videos on bow making using my easy bow maker. So you can go back after this and check out some of my other lives and my other recorded videos. So what I'm doing is I'm starting on the outside and taking one of my rolls and I'm just scrunching it right up the middle, which happens to be right on this pink line, so that's helpful. So I'm going right up that pink line from one side to the other, pinching the middle and adding it to an outside tie. I have a craft fair coming up. Hi Sarah, how are you? Yes, fabric mesh for sure. I have a craft fair coming up in June 8th. It's not going to be a big one. I don't expect. It's a butterfly and bird festival at our local animal rescue. I don't expect it to be a big one, but I do believe they have a good following. And I always drive my own traffic, so I always get usually my own customers coming. So I wanted to make a few more things for it, summer related. So I thought this one would be perfect. And I love this mesh because it's got all the colors of summer. I actually usually don't even do spring or summer fairs. They're just generally not great. They really pick up in the fall. But this one's really close to home. It's supporting the nature center. We have had to bring a couple of baby bunnies that were hiding in our yard and our dog found them, so we brought them there to be taken care of. So we were so appreciative that they would take care of them for us. I mean, the dog didn't know better, but you know, we felt awful. So I'll have a little bit of everything. It's right before Father's Day, so we're gonna have a bunch of Father's Day items. My son does woodworking, so he makes a lot of things for Father's Day, so he'll be selling those there. I do have a bunch of like sunflower wreaths and a couple of everyday wreaths. Yes, exactly. Always, you know, even if I don't, hopefully I just at least make my table back or whatever, but I expect to do that. But, you know, they're always looking for donations and help, and I'm all for it. Hey, I would rather give it to them than some of these promoters that just take your big bucks for the craft fairs and don't do much else. So I figured I'd give it a try. I try anything once, right? For the most part, I do most of my sales through my Etsy shop, which is craftytherapybyl.etsy.com. But I like to stay present in the local community also. Right now we're selling a lot of bows and graduation card holders and signs, wreaths. Mark it up. The solo red cup holders, if you've ever seen those. Those are popular in our shop now with the barbecue season and party season starting. Got a little fraying, so you just cut it off. All mesh is going to fray no matter what you do. You just try to use quality. quality mesh and a nice sharp rotary plate is the best you can do. Some people use the wood burner. That's not something that I want to get into. There's fumes that you have to be concerned about. It's a lot more time consuming to get them cut. And honestly, this has never been a problem for me. Stay away from the Dollar Tree rolls of mesh, the Michaels rolls of mesh. Those tend to fray a little bit more. So I've done the whole outside. Now I'm doing the same thing. I've cut these at 21 inches, going right up the middle, teeny tiny gathers. And now I'm going to move right into the middle. And adding it right on top of the outside layer. Some people do the inside, some people do the outside. I prefer doing the outside first and then coming to the inside. No right or wrong answer. It's just kind of how I learned, and it's just what I'm comfortable with. That way I'm not moving mesh around to get underneath it. And this is such a pretty mesh that you can really just stop here. I will be putting a lot of pretty ribbons on top, but some people just like a very simple wreath. You just got to know your customers. And of course, if I got a custom order for it, I would absolutely do what the customer requested. I like to have a lot of these pre-made wreath forms on hand. I actually don't use them too much because they have an odd number of ties on them. So generally I like to make my own so I can space out my ties properly and have an even number. But this one is going to have a beautiful bow that I made on my channel. It was about a week or two ago. So this one is going to have a bow. And that's going to go where the odd number of ties is. And you can go back and check out that video. I also have that bow listed in my Etsy shop, so if someone wants it for a lantern or a swag or a mailbox or a gift basket, you can grab that. I don't want to adjust the stands now, but I think next time I'm going to bring it up higher so that you can get a little bit more of the table view. So just twisting it 2 or 3 times. I don't like to go crazy with the twist because I want to leave enough room for when I add in the ribbon, and sometimes I add in some tubing or florals. Do I have any wreath makers out there? Anybody make wreaths, or you're just learning, just like to craft? Okay, so I have 1, 2. So I am going to end up using that one that's a little bit shorter, which is perfectly fine. You're never even going to notice that it's an inch or 2 shorter. In fact, this is what I was talking about. You see how close these are? Really, I have it, otherwise I'm just going to throw it out. I'm going to actually add it. I could probably just cut off one of those ties and not even use it. It's like they just threw on that extra one. You know, if I took that away, you wouldn't even, it's full enough. But because I have this one extra piece, I'm going to put it on there. Because I wouldn't just save one piece, because I think this was the only roll that I did have. So So I'll just add it in. And this is where my bow is going to go, most likely. Oh, that came undone. So 1, 2, 3, because that's my last one. I'm not going to add anything into it. I'm going to cut that down. And then you can see how it starts coming together. Right? Pretty colors, all tying in. My bow is going to be down here. Nice pop of color. Now this is kind of a weird, it's a weird sign. It's not metal, it's not wood, it's not even thick enough. Normally I would use a staple gun on the back to put my ties to tie it on. It's going to go right through the image on the front. So I can use cable tie mounts, but if it's going to a hotter, you know, down south, those can melt off, and I'm not comfortable with that. So when my son gets home from school, oh, look at that. It does have, oh, this one already has holes in it. Okay, that's fine. Normally, I would have, if those were not there, I would have my son pop 4 holes, 1 in each corner. But since that's there, I'm going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to grab some wire. I try to wire everything on because anything with glue, you have that risk, no matter if it's the best industrial, Gorilla Glue, it can still melt on those hot doors. So if I can wire things on, that's going to be my first choice. And then if I have to staple, use zip ties and staple it on, that would be my next choice. So I'm adding my sign, going right through the mesh, and I'm feeling underneath for the wires to poke through. And I'm tying it right onto the frame. You want to make sure you're tying it to the actual frame to give it support. And then I'll do the other side. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm happy to answer. All right, so I just sat it right on top of my mesh. It's not sunken down. It's nice and supported. I think I'm gonna add I've got some beautiful ribbons cut out here. I've already cut them using my ribbon tail boards, nice and easy. I also have videos on how I cut my ribbons using ribbon tail boards. Now I'm just folding it over to make that nice, sharp, finished edge. I call this dovetailing. Just gives it a more finished look. So this 1.5 inch ribbon was cut at 12 inches. I almost always work with a combination of 1.5 inch ribbon and 2.5 inch ribbon. going to the 2.5-inch ribbon, all wired ribbon. You need that wire in it, a nice sturdy wire, so that the ribbon stays and it doesn't flop all over the place. This is cut at 13 inches. My 2.5-inch ribbons I generally cut at 13 inches each. So it's a little bit longer than the 1.5-inch. Again, personal preference. Some people cut it at 12, some people cut it at 14. There is no right or wrong. Okay, so these are all cut. Just clean this up. Dump it into my little garbage pail I have here. Okay. So I'm making pairs. This is going to be one pair, and this is going to be another pair. Stack them up one on top of the other. Fold them over so that your tail ends are even. Pinch the middle and add it to a zip tie on the outside. I prefer to do the outside first. And now I'm going to go to my next pattern. Line them up, fold it over, pinch the middle, and add it to an outside tie. And you can see all of these colors tying in beautifully with the sign. So I started with my sign. I found the mesh I wanted to work with. Then I went to my ribbons and I pulled out ribbons that pull the colors of the sign. If you don't know what colors go together, I also have ribbon kits in my Etsy shop. So I take all the guesswork away. You know that they're going to coordinate beautifully. You can add a sign. You can just leave it without a sign. Not all the customers want a sign on it. They just might want a ribbon wreath. So it's nice to give options. So I'm just twisting them in 2 or 3 times, and then I'll go back and I'll trim all of the pipe cleaners down. Oh my, did we have an uneven number of, must have had an uneven number of ties. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, okay. So this is what I was talking about, how you have an uneven number of ties. So then you would have, I'm going to have 2 of the same pattern next to each other. This is why I like to make my own frames. But again, it's not a big deal because I'm planning for that bow. So I'm just going to shift. I'm just going to leave this like this for now. I might move this one over here, but I want to get the bow on first and then I will see. Like this with an odd number, because if they had actually asked a wreath maker it would have been something very easy to point out and very easy to fix, but it is what it is. If you buy higher quality frames, online stores, reputable companies, generally you will not get that. I'm trying to rush through this a little bit because I have my son will be coming home any second. And then the dogs start barking. He'll be coming home from school. He's a senior, so he gets early dismissal every other day. He's got about 3 weeks left of school. Crazy how fast this year went. I always say once we get back from Christmas break, the school year is basically over. It goes so fast. Okay, now I'm going to add my bow. I may need to adjust the sign to go a little bit higher, but I usually like to get it up on the door to see that. So again, I'm just going right through the mesh, feeling for the back, and I'm tying it right onto the frame. This is such a fun and pretty bow. These colors are just gorgeous. This is perfect for spring and summer. Or if you have like, you know, a home, a beach house. This is just a fun, cheerful wreath. I'm just going around and trimming all of these extra ties because I don't need them anymore. They don't do anything to my design. And I picked the orange because it ties in with the sign, it ties in with the ribbon colors, so it all blends in. So I'll pick up some red during Christmas. I'll use it for Christmas, I'll use it for Valentine's Day, 4th of July. The orange can be used for Easter, fall, Halloween. This is going to be a big wreath. This is probably going to be about 28, 29 inches. Now what I need to do is just go around and spread all of my ribbons so that it really fills out the wreath. And I like to be able to see all of the pretty patterns on the ribbon. These butterfly ribbons have been very popular in my bows this year. So you can see how this is all coming together. It's filling out. You could take these and just fold them over. And these ribbons will stay nice because it has a nice wire in them. They're nice quality. And I send a note in with my Etsy shipments how to spread out the ribbons, how to kind of fold them down, because after shipment, they might need a little fluffing. And after storage, if you put it away, you put your next seasonal wreath up, they might need a little fluffing depending on how you store them. I always suggest storing them in clear plastic leaf bags, the really large leaf bags, and either hanging it in a closet, or we have a PVC pole on the top of our garage and I just hang them from there. So it's up out of the way. It's not anybody's, it's not taking up any room. It's not taking up any room in our garage. The attic, you can store them up there too, but again, don't put anything on top of it, and make sure that there's no glue on. Those attics get really hot. And just round out the loops. So fun, the hot pink, teals, all pulling in these colors. Okay. Let's see if I can go up with the camera. Oh, what did I do? Somehow I shut the light. See? What did I do? All right, I don't want to mess with it because this obviously is the first time I'm using this camera, and I don't want to lose you. But there we have it. We have that beautiful bow. We've got all the ribbons. It's a nice thick wreath. This is about, yeah, this is about 26 inches. And I would say with the bow about 7 inches deep. So a real nice statement for your front door. If you're interested in this wreath, you can purchase it in my Etsy shop. I'll be taking the pictures and some videos later this afternoon. Crafty Therapy by L.Etsy.com. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, you can always leave them in the comments and I will get a notification and I can go back and answer them. Also check out the rest of my videos and lives. Lots of information on how to make these beautiful bows, how to cut the ribbons, how to make the wreath frames. I hope you have a great day and join me next time. Take care.